Okay, today is February the 14th, 2018. And right now at 10 a.m., we have a temperature of 59 degrees in the foothills of Los Angeles. The relative humidity is 53%. The dew point is 42 degrees, and the barometer is up at 30.09 inches. Now, we had 8/100ths of an inch of rain on the evening of the 12th. And it began as a pretty good rain event. Started to rain pretty good. And within about 3 minutes, the rain just abruptly stopped. And that the spigot remained off for probably about 45 minutes. And then we saw a light rain begin once again. And that continued on for about an hour and a half to 2 hours, probably closer to 2 hours. A very light rain. And so that totaled up to 8/100ths of an inch, not even a tenth of an inch of rain. And so, as I say, the beginning of that rain event started off pretty hearty. It was coming down pretty good for just a short time, and then it just stopped. And so, what I'd like to say about that is that in the old days, a lot of us that can remember real weather, that we would never see the rain start like this and then just abruptly stop. That never happened. Anyhow, so that's just evidence of manipulation going on up in the upper atmosphere, where the upper atmosphere is targeted. They hit the area with microwave. They heat the upper atmosphere, and of course that prevents the lift, and that stops the precipitation process. You have to have lift and moisture to get precipitation. Those two components, you have to have those. So if we don't have lift, we're not going to get rain. Not going to have rain. All right, so we're looking at the northeast Pacific water vapor loop. We see a lot of things going on. We have an unmarked disturbance down here. We have a low pressure system here. We've got thunderstorm activity here, which is being superheated and blown apart by a transmitter. We can see, we'll look at the detail on that here in a minute. We have a large, this looks like a gale force system here. I don't have the chart up, but this is just north of the Hawaiian Islands. And we'll take a look at the jet stream map. This is quite a mess here. Let's look at that right now. The jet stream map for the East and Central Pacific and West Pacific. We can see a lot of manipulation here. We've got a lot of flow pattern, but right here where this big low pressure system is, right off of California, just north of the Hawaiian Islands, we see nothing flowing into that low pressure. Here's the islands right here. So we've got a giant low pressure system here. Everything is blocked, as we can see. We've got jet stream flow into Southern California. And there actually is some rain showing up on the Doppler map. We'll take a look at that in a second. Let's go back to the big map right here. And we can see that low right here, which has a transmitter focusing right on top of that vortex. And so we can see the effect. The jet stream moisture field right here is evaporating as it flows into the low pressure vortex. This is defying some basic laws of how pressure and condensation form. Typically, when higher pressure flows to lower pressure, we have condensation. But that's not what we're seeing right here. We're seeing a defiance of some basic laws. We have a transmitter which is blockading this low, and that is preventing this moisture from feeding into that low pressure system. And same thing happening here. We have some moisture development here on the backside. That's wrapping back around and running into this installed area of high pressure, which is a transmitter generated artificial means of preventing this low from developing. So we've got plenty of manipulation going on there. Right down here, we've got this low, as I mentioned. All that moisture around the backside is flowing right up on that partial jet stream flow right into California. There is some rain. Also, we have a low pressure system right here, right offshore, a dry low. This is blockaded. We can see the this area of installed high pressure right there, which is blockading this moisture flow from getting into that vortex. Also, we have a area of high pressure being installed right here. This is dropping down, and the proximity of this low and this high pressure is going to bring us some Santa Ana winds. So we're going to have some more wind, and that will dry things out. We've had just a little over 3 inches of rain this entire season. Here we are approaching the middle of February now, and the Southern California area has barely had not even 3.5 inches of rain. And so these terrorists that are controlling our weather are causing an environmental disaster. One thing that needs to be pointed out is that in the last 8 years, we've seen some very big changes in the weather, not only around here, but up in Alaska. When I was up there, I had no less than 6 people come to me and volunteer information about the weather without me bothering to ask or even bring up the subject. So there's plenty of changes going on around the country, and those things are very important, because we're finding that the top echelons of our intelligence agencies and also the FBI have been basically infested by people from the Democratic Party who just coincidentally happen to believe that CO2 is causing climate change, and they're very adamant about climate change and global warming. It's almost a religion. I don't like to quote, make cliche comments and statements, but it's gotten to be almost a religion. And so we have to break that cycle. Once again, CO2, carbon dioxide, and smokestack emissions have absolutely zero to do with the manipulation we're seeing here, these blockades of high pressure being installed. This is most likely a satellite-based transmitter causing this division through here, these high pressure installations that causes evaporation, and essentially causes a blockade condition where we see evaporation. And so these things are not caused by carbon dioxide. That is a total lie. It's just garbage. And the motivating factor about keeping all of this a secret is, of course, the financial markets that are now trading weather derivatives, catastrophic bonds, weather options. And so those are the things. That's the financial motivation to keep all this information secret. That is, these right angles we see in these storms, to break them down. We have a persistent area of high pressure down here, which is installed in place to stop the flow of moisture into California when we need it. This will be the driest winter on record, unless these terrorists allow some rain in, which it looks like we've got a possibility right here. Let's take a look at some of these other maps. We've got the infrared map, and we can see this disturbance down here being blown apart. We can see the descending air, the high pressure superheating effect right here on this east side. Let's take a look here real close in the East Pacific water vapor loop. You can see that low pressure right over here, and we have thunderstorm development around the backside. And notice this dark area filling in. That's where right after they superheat this area, we have a blast pattern that shoots out, that evaporates everything. We have rapidly expanding water vapor as a result of this superheating process. You can see that much better here in the infrared loop. So we have a pressure wave that moves out, and that is evaporating all that moisture as it shoots out, that pressure wave. Now here in the visible light mode, we can see the blast pattern right out here, and we have a second blast right there, and that is disrupting the convective process right here in the center of this large thunderstorm system right here. And we can see there's a large dimple mark there that is apparent. This is the area right here which was targeted. You can see that roll cloud, or this pressure wave moving away. So if there's any ships out in this area, they'd be seeing some pretty interesting cloud formations out here on the east side of this thunderstorm development. Have some gusts of wind. We can see right out here there was a much earlier blast superheating event that took place, and that's moving away. We have a second shot taking place there. And of course, we see the photoshopping over the top of the very center of this as they're targeting that. We'd normally see a dimple mark right here, which expands out. As we have the night to day transition, we see that dimple mark is expanded into a much larger crater, which generates this pressure wave and roll cloud. So that's what's happening. This is a weather manipulation on a grand scale. It's affecting we have imbeciles, the entire California legislature, which is mostly Democrat. These people are completely asleep. They're sleepwalking. They're non-technical people. They wouldn't know a potato chip from an integrated circuit chip. And if you hand them this evidence, they wouldn't know what to do with it. And of course, we have Jerry Brown at the top of that heap. And as a result of this problem, we have this manipulation going on, and nothing is being done about it. Now we have to look at the pattern of politics in the FBI at the very top. The FBI can do something about this. They've had the power to do something about this the last 8 years. Of course, nothing was done about it. In fact, we saw things accelerate. We've got a very serious problem going on here with drought conditions that are manufactured. Here's the western U.S. water vapor loop. We can see this high pressure area right here. This is a low that's being squashed. That's moving to the south. We've got a low here, and we've got artificial high pressure being installed right here. And so we're going to have some wind today later on, and that will prevent this moisture field right here from probably delivering any needed rain to the LA area. Now, looking at the Doppler map, we do see some scattered showers up in the Central Valley, the southern Central Valley, and out in the, looks like we've got some rain up in the foothills here. Let's take a better look. Scattered showers, yeah, we got some snow over here in the San Bernardino Mountains. But this will all be short-lived because we see that high pressure moving in. We've got rain offshore. This should be moving in and dumping rain. Got a pretty good cell of rain out here. Look at this. This should move in and dump some rain. This is a good amount of rain here. Look at it. Got some yellow. This should all be moving in and dumping rain today. We see a ground transmitter manipulation. We've got a straight edge here, fairly straight edge. That's caused by the ground transmitters, which are the NEXRAD WSR 88Ds. Those are ground transmitters. They're stacked on about a 6-story tower. Big white radome, big white golf ball looking radome on top of a 6-story tower. Those are ground-based transmitters. They cause these pie-shaped cutouts in the precipitation. All right, so now looking at the SSCC map here real quick, we can see that giant low pressure right over the Hawaiian Islands. This is stalled in place. This is not moving anywhere at the moment. Over here near the west coast, we can see this giant moisture field, partial jet stream flow right into California. And then we have this high pressure. We've got a low actually right here. Partial low pressure system right here spinning counterclockwise. And as a result of this, we should be getting a lot of rain. Okay, so that's it. Again, the jet stream map shows that partial jet stream flow. So we do have some rain in the Southern California area as we pan out. You can see that there is some rain scattered around the area in the southwest. That's good. Arizona's getting some rain. That's all good. But this needs to be allowed to move in and really soak us. We need a good soaking, and that's really all I can say. So that's it. We'll do another one later.